Welcome to the Mindset Mutiny. I am your host, Mike Ivanov. Join me as we challenge the status quo, break free from self-imposed limits, and redefine what's possible. Welcome back, everybody. I just want to take a quick minute to mark an occasion. Today, I'm recording in a brand new studio. First time any podcast has ever been recorded in this studio, and it is not mine. And I want to mention that because somebody in my circle, somebody very close to me that has been working with me tirelessly, decided to invest in me and give me a place where I can come to do this and to pursue what I'm trying to do with the podcast. It's nice to have somebody believe in you and push you way outside of your comfort zone, but at the same time, put in the work to help you get there. This is why I talk about curating your circle. This person is very special to me. They have not been in my life a very long time. But the way my life has changed and the way my mind and the way I think of things has changed is a direct reflection of this individual's energy in my life. So we're going to get started, but I wanted to mark the occasion because it's very special. And it's something that you need to consider too when you have this opportunity to be around certain people and the energy that you put out to attract those people. It's just so great. And I never thought that I'd be here in life with this type of momentum. So I hope you've been listening. And if you haven't, go back. I'm charting out the entire way forward for everybody to listen to. All the things I wish somebody had told me sooner. So today, I find myself in uncharted territory. New levels, new demands, and absolutely new pressures. The evolution that I am in right now is absolutely testing me in ways that I've never been tested before. But I can assure you, I am completely locked in, fully committed as always. But the fear, it's right there. I can feel it every day, and it's trying to block me. I don't know what's coming. I don't know the struggle ahead. I just know that I'm stepping into something bigger, something unfamiliar, and the weight of it, it's real. But that's how it works. You have to understand that every time you level up, the game changes a little bit. The challenges, they absolutely get harder. The stakes, they get higher. And the resistance gets stronger. And that's why most people stop. They hit that wall of uncertainty, that overwhelming feeling, and they retreat. They convince themselves they weren't ready. I was there. It's been holding me back for years. Don't let it happen to you. It's taken me time to learn what that means, to understand my mind and why it's trying to convince me not to do it. But now I know better. I'm aware of it. I know that discomfort is the sign I'm growing. I don't freak out about it now. I push into the discomfort. I know that feeling overwhelmed is not a signal to stop. It's proof that I'm in the exact right place. It's where I should be. When I'm not feeling the discomfort, when I'm not feeling overwhelmed, that's when the demons come to get me. There's some sort of peace that comes over me when I'm in the fight. And if you're not in the fight right now, that's why I'm sharing this with you. Pick up your sword and go to battle. That'll fix everything you're dealing with right now. Don't talk about it. Don't think about it. Just do it. So right now, I am deep in the process of learning this new series of levels that are facing me. I don't have all the answers. I don't know all the angles yet, but I do know one thing. I'm here to master this level. Like I've done before. This is what Mindset Mutiny is all about. There are levels to this shit. Whatever game you're playing, whatever goal you're chasing, there is no skipping the steps. There's people out there, a large majority, just watching others succeed. They want the results without the work. They see the highlights, but ignore the blood, sweat, and setbacks it took to get there. I promise every level demands something from you. Discipline, sacrifice, repetition. You got to fucking pay up, and that's the currency. You don't just level up because you want to. Want's not going to fucking get you there. You level up because you've earned it. So you either commit to the process or you stay exactly where you are. If you cannot master level 1, there is no way in hell your level will be level 10. No way. You're never going to be ready for it. But people still want to jump levels. Shit, I used to want to jump levels. I'd get into something and then I'd say, all right, yep, cool. I started it. Why don't I have all the success? It's the same thing with a podcast. I record 2 episodes and nobody listens. And I'm like, oh, why have I blown up yet? Because I haven't fucking earned it. I'm on level 1, man. And it's the best place to be because this is where the shit gets real. This is where you start to forge that person, where you change things, where you develop, you understand the process, you respect it. Stop that shit with thinking just because you start on level 1, tomorrow you'll be at level 10. So let me ask you a question. How do you think that you're going to play at level 10 when you're struggling to even show up at level 1? Better yet, how do you think you deserve a shot at level 10? That level, I promise you, requires more than talent or ambition. You're not just going to get there because you showed up. It demands skill, discipline, resilience. And those are the things that you will earn by grinding through the process. And that process, it's not just a checklist. I think it's a filter. It filters out the fucking posers, the people who are halfway in, who want that reward, but not the work. You know people like that. Shit, maybe you're like that. I was. I'm not afraid to admit it. I wanted all the rewards. Goes all the way back to when I graduated from college. Figure, hey, I got a college degree. First day out, I should be making $100,000. My first job out of school, I made $38,000 a year. Talk about a fucking adjustment, right? That was me thinking I could skip the levels. Started way back. And I finally kicked that shit to the curb. It is so hard to skip steps. And if you're stuck, if you can't make it to the next level, it's because you're skipping something important. Maybe it's an essential skill you failed to pick up. Maybe you neglected to build a strong circle of people who push you forward. Maybe you haven't built your base. You're not taking care of yourself. You're not sleeping. Your diet's not locked in. Your exercise isn't right. All that shit matters. So whatever it is, just know the process will expose your weaknesses. And that's great, but that's why it's so important to lock in every step. You have to see the beauty of the process. There is no top. It's limitless. That's why we do this shit. The levels don't end. You just keep climbing. It's about what you learn along the way. Each level teaches you how to balance it all, how to handle the weight of responsibility, how to deal with the pressure, and most importantly, how to make success sustainable. Success that isn't built on a solid foundation will crumble the second life gets hard. I've seen it. I've lived it. So let's be fucking real. Change doesn't happen overnight. So stop expecting that it will. You can't undo years of bad habits or weak discipline in a week or even a month. Fuck it, even a year. Progress takes time, consistency, and a willingness to embrace the grind when nobody's watching. And let me tell you something else. And this is hard for people to hear. And it was hard for me to recognize in the beginning. Most people around you don't want to see you level up. Yeah, I said it. Most people around you, they don't want to see you win. It's just the reality. They're comfortable. They like where they are. And the idea of you rising above them, that's a threat. Let's just fucking call it what it is. If you really think about it, like really think about it, and you're really honest with yourself, you'll identify people around you that when you tell them good news or you start to want to do better, suck you back down. And that's why you got to curate the circle. Kick those motherfuckers to the curb. Don't let them take success from you. Don't let them hold you back. Just be aware of it. So there's signs that you're on the right path. Trust me on that. When you get people questioning everything you're doing, thinking you're crazy, telling you to stop, slow down, rest, all that bullshit, well, my friends, that means you've arrived. You are in the right place. And this is where curating your circle becomes even more important. When you're on this mission, you can't afford to have people in your life who want to hold you back. In fact, the people in my life, they tell me things that I never dreamed of. Like they're like, hey, Mike, you should do this. I'm like, what the fuck? Really? They challenged me to do the shit that scares the fucking shit out of me, man. It's like when I'm talking to them, they expect me to do it. Like hey, Mike, you can do it. And because I have this part of me where I don't want to let them down, or they force me to see that I have these potentials that I need to use, I have to do it. And I feel like that's the fee I have to pay for being around them. When they challenge me, I have to live up to the challenge. And you do that enough, and it starts to become second nature. So when you have these people around you, when you sit with these people and all you talk about is getting better and pushing through your limits, those are the people you want around you. I don't sit down with anybody that's going to sit here and just talk the shit. You know, what's the weather look like? What's the most current events? I don't give a fuck. I sit down with people and we get right to it. We talk about our emotions. We talk about how we're feeling. We talk about what we're doing, what the next challenge is, where we're getting stuck. If you're just sitting around with people, talking drama, not trying to talk about your weaknesses, you got the wrong people around you. So I need you to surround yourself with people who will push you, who will challenge you, who won't let you settle, and people that call you on your bullshit. You know, cool story. I was invited to an event and was very nervous about it. I don't know why. And this is, you know, obviously hard for me to tell you because I have this kind of buried in my subconscious where I didn't want to address it. So this person's very close to me and has been challenging me over the last couple of years. And they said, hey, when you were at that event, you know, you weren't yourself. You weren't the Mike Ivanov that I expected to show up. And, you know, you have two options at that point, right? Or you can let your ego win and be like, "Oh, what are you talking about? Nah, whatever." And make an excuse. "Oh, I didn't feel good, or I did. Everything was fine. I talked to people, blah, blah." Right? I showed up at this event and I was in a shell. That's not who I am. I own the room. I socialize with everybody. That stuff's important to me. But for some reason that night I didn't. And he called me on it. And I'm sitting across from why he's calling me on it. And I'm like, this is why he's in my life. Because I brushed past that. I just looked, I got to survive this event. And then once I get out of here, everything will be fine. But I didn't show up and give 110%. I let my doubts, my fears, my insecurities change how I showed up. So when he called me on it, I was just sitting there like, fuck. And in my mind, I just had nothing to say because he was right. And you want people around you that are going to tell you things that are the truth because we're not really good at telling ourselves the truth. So looked at him. I said, message received. I thought about it. And he's like, Mike, you need to find out, where maybe that issue started because it started somewhere in your childhood. And, at first I was like, yeah, okay, no problem. But because this person is important to me, I forced myself to think about it. And that night, I tried this app that he suggested to me called Higher Self. And it's like a meditation, hypnotization type of app. And I just said I'd give it a shot, and I hit it. And that's what I had been thinking about in my mind. Like, why did I act that way? Why do I get anxiety when I go to these events, right? Where this is fun stuff. I should be excited. This is what I enjoy. Why am I not enjoying it? So I'm going through this meditation and it hits me and it's fucking crazy because I'd never thought about it before. But as a kid, I'd always have to go to all these family gatherings. And listen, family's important and it's a great thing, right? But I didn't like doing it as a kid. I'm not sure exactly yet why I didn't like it. But I felt like forced that I had to go to all these events and do all these traditions. And I fucking hate tradition, right? For some reason, I don't know. It's just who I am. So being forced to do it all those years and then, have to dress up and wear, nice clothes for pictures and then talk to people and, talk about shit you really weren't interested in and whatnot. And I think that played a role in it. So I identified that. And it was helpful to look back and see like, hey, this influenced how I show up today. But I identified it and then I cleared it from my mind, right? So what was so great is there was an event at the same place a couple days after we had that discussion, a couple days after I had addressed like what was holding me back. So I went into this event with a totally new mindset, right? I'm going to show up. I'm going to meet everybody. I'm going to bring value, okay, to others' lives when I attend this event. And I went in with the right mindset. And you know what? Everything I just said happened. I met great people. I shared some stories that are very deep to me with others, and I believe it changed some parts of their life. I had a great time. I felt zero nervousness, felt zero anxiety. I was in the moment. I was enjoying the people around me. I was adding value. But if this person hadn't called me on that shit, I would have showed up in the same way. I would have been in my little nutshell. I would have talked to maybe one person, maybe not shared anything deep, would have been all surface level. So the point of the story is that I'm not afraid to admit my insecurities. I'm not afraid to sit with somebody and have them tell me things about myself that maybe I haven't acknowledged yet. Then I'm not afraid to go back and look at why that's happening, address it, move forward, create a different identity around this type of shit. You can do the same thing. And it doesn't happen right away. I've had a lot of practice. But it was very moving for me because it was literally within a week I had changed every bit of this situation. But I have to keep doing it. So it's just very, very interesting. And there's a lot more that goes into that. You know, maybe we can discuss it, further later. But let me ask you a question. What's your level right now? Are you dominating it? Or are you stuck, spinning your wheels, frustrated because you think you should already be at the top? Understand this. Nobody wants to start at level 1. It's fucking uncomfortable. Nobody likes to be uncomfortable, but we keep talking about this. The more uncomfortable you become, the deeper you can push, the more you can achieve. You can rewire your brain to enjoy the discomfort. That's what I was doing going to this event. I had to be uncomfortable. And then when you get into it, you realize that fear, it's only an inch deep. Step the fuck in and you realize it's all good. Being a beginner, starting at level 1, it's humbling. And that's why most people avoid it. Because it doesn't come with a bunch of recognition, no rewards. That's it. So you have to decide what you're like doing it for. Are you doing it because you want recognition? Are you doing it because you want rewards? Or are you doing it to become better? To build the person you are today into something unrecognizable? So here's the thing. Level 1 is the most important stage of everything. Level 1 is where you set the tone for everything else moving forward. So I have a saying that I live by. And I didn't always live by this, but once I started looking at everything this way, everything became very simple. How you do anything is how you do everything. Facts. How you do anything is how you do everything. I live by that fucking shit. You can't just do something great in one part of your life and do something shit in another part of your life and expect to be the full human being, because the shortcuts you're taking in the other parts will bleed into the rest of your life. How you do anything is how you do everything. So think about that. And the next time you try to take a shortcut, realize you're only fucking yourself. And by taking that shortcut in one part of your life, it's going to bleed into the other parts of your life. I promise you. Try it. Level 1 is where you build the discipline, consistency, the habits that are going to carry you forward. So if you can't commit to showing up every single day, whether it's the gym, it's your career, it's your relationships, if you can't do that consistently over time, how do you think you're going to handle the bigger challenges like later? I'll save you some time. You can't. That's the truth. You got to earn it. Other things that happen at level 1, one of the most important, that this is where the mindset shift starts to happen. Your mind, it's holding you back. It's the gatekeeper to every single level. And if you don't force your mind to evolve, you'll stay stuck. Period. I see it all the time. People are stuck. I tell them how to get unstuck, but they just can't do it. And I'm telling you, it's simple shit. People don't like how their body is. Okay, eat less. They can't do it. I'm sad. All right, write down why. They don't write it down. I feel stuck. Okay, what are you doing to challenge yourself? They're not doing anything. And then when I ask them to, what do you want to do? They can't answer the question. the mind gets locked into these circuits that just become self-destructive. And then you can't even think outside of that. So when I challenge these people to write these things down, let's look at them, let's go through it together. Let's map the way forward. The mind is gatekeeping. It won't even let you start to write down what you don't like about yourself. But if you can't do these things, you'll never truly hit the next level. You can lie to yourself all you want, but that's not going to get you anywhere either. Your body, your habits, your skills, they won't move forward until your mind does. Level 1 isn't just about showing up physically. It's about rewiring your thoughts. It's about breaking those patterns of comfort, which we all love. Breaking those patterns of doubt, which we all allow in. Breaking those habits of fear that has stopped us from leveling up our entire fucking lives. Here's the thing. People love the idea of leveling up. They fucking talk about it all the time. I'm going to do this. I've been thinking about doing that. Can't wait to achieve this. They don't fucking do anything to get there. It's just talk. And we all know the old saying, talk is cheap, motherfucker. I love that. If I say something out loud to somebody, I'm going to fucking do it. Shit, I do it on purpose. I say shit that's way out there because I know that I'm not going to let my word turn into nothing. I put it out in the universe because I know that if I say it, I'm going to do it. I trust in myself that much. Try it. Stop fucking talking about it. Take some action. One little step forward, right, is better than a step you'll never take. Now, the problem is people like to talk about it, right? Because they don't want to do what's required, but it makes them feel good. They get a little shot of dopamine talking about what they want to do. But guess what happens? When you don't do it, that's when that depression starts to kick in. When you say you're going to do all these things and you don't do it, you realize you can't even fucking trust yourself. And if you can't trust yourself, who the fuck can you trust? Do what's required. Everyone loves the thought of success, the accolades, that sense of accomplishment, but they don't love the grind. They don't want to sacrifice. They don't want to exercise sheer willpower. It's needed to stay the course. And most people, they tap out because the price that is required, they don't want to pay. I'll tell you right now today, you can't tap out on your life. You can't tap out on your goals. When things get tough, when the pressure builds, when you feel like you can't breathe, you don't get an option to quit. Jiu-jitsu teaches you that. You're trapped. You're pinned underneath someone's trying to choke you the fuck out. And if they can't get that choke, they're going to try to rip your arm off your body. So now you got two problems to deal with. And then here's problem 3. They're grinding their sweaty face into your forehead, pushing on your rib cage. They have their knee on your stomach. They're fucking smashing you. And your mind is just sitting there screaming for an escape, begging you to quit, forcing you to panic. But you can't do that. Why? Because if you tap too soon, you never grow. You never adapt. You never learn how to fight your way out. Life works the same way. The pressure will come. You will feel trapped. You will feel like there's no way out. Maybe you're there now. I've been there. No matter what's going on, you feel like there's no way out. The difference is I put myself in situations like that now. I put myself in the situations where I feel like there's no way out. And because I trust myself and because I've been there before, I know that there is. There is a way out. If you keep thinking, if you keep working, if you keep problem solving instead of surrendering to the pain and the panic. The best in jiu-jitsu don't just survive under pressure. They become calm in it. They find the space where others see none. They shift their weight, change their angles, fight for an opening. That's how you need to approach your goals. That's how you stay in the fight. Breathe through the discomfort. Keep moving. Keep working. If you refuse to tap, if you refuse to give in, eventually you find your way out. And when you do, you're not the same person who was stuck. You're stronger. You're sharper. And next time, you won't break. You'll be the one applying the pressure. So think about fitness for a second. Talk about this a lot. Everybody wants that six-pack, right? And if you don't, I don't know what the fuck's wrong with you. I've wanted that shit my entire life. But you know what most people don't want? They don't want to count calories. They don't want to lift consistently. They don't want to give up their comfort food. They don't want to make time for the gym when life gets busy. They want to make excuses as to why they can't do it. That type of shit, that's wanting the results without the work. And that's exactly why they stay stuck. But here's the thing. This is not just about fitness. Because I know you might be sitting there like, hey, Mike, life's not all about working out. Fair. But the gym, exercise, movement, I can promise you that fixes everything in your life. Because that fitness mindset plays out in every area of life. People want the dream job, but they don't want to grind through the long hours. They don't want to face the failures, the learning curves. They want financial freedom, but they don't want to budget. They don't want to sacrifice. They don't want to build a business. They don't have the discipline to save or invest. They want great relationships, but they don't want to put in the effort to communicate. They don't want to address their ego. They don't want to listen. They want to be fucking right all the time. They don't want to show up when it's inconvenient. You see how this shit is all throughout your life? The pattern's everywhere. People desire the outcome without respect for the process. The expectation of success without the willingness to endure the struggle that creates it. And until you recognize that, until you stop looking for the shortcut and start just fucking committing to the work in every aspect of your life, you will stay stuck. Just like the person who wants the six-pack but refuses to change their habits. Level 1 is the grind. It's the mornings when you're exhausted, the nights when the doubt creeps in, and the moments when nobody's watching. It's when you're out there showing up for yourself. Even when it feels like no one fucking cares. And that's the beauty of it. Because in those moments, you're proving to yourself that you can do it. It doesn't fucking matter who's watching. It doesn't matter if anyone's acknowledging your effort. And if that's what you're doing it for, then you're fucked. This isn't about validation. It's about your transformation. You shouldn't be looking for approval. You're trying to build an unshakable foundation. What's it matter what everybody else thinks? You're proving day by day that you can rely on yourself. And that's the only shit that fucking matters. I've been there. When I started running, couldn't imagine running 10 miles. Hell, 1 mile felt like torture. But I couldn't skip that stage. Trust me, I tried. Ended with injuries, poor mindset, stopped running for a little while. But once I stopped trying to skip the stages, skip the levels, skip the process, and I decided to fucking earn it every step, every breath, every ache, those were my building blocks. And now, running 10 miles is not a challenge. It's just part of who I am. But I didn't get there by skipping those steps. I got there by owning that level 1. I had to force my mind to evolve. And let me tell you, I could feel it happening. There were tears. There was doubt. There was anxieties. That quit kept trying to creep in. I'd ask myself, what the fuck am I doing this for? I don't really want to fucking run. It's not about the running. It's about forcing the mind to stand in there when you don't want to. So I stopped focusing on how hard it was, and I started focusing on what I was building towards. Level 1, in my experience, is where you learn what you're truly made of. It's that foundation for that resilience that's required, the grit that's required, the mental toughness that you will need to move through the levels. Because if you can't conquer the doubts and excuses that pop up in your head, you'll never make it to level 2, let alone level 10. So I challenge you. Where are you right now? I give you a second to think about it. Be honest with yourself. Where are you right now? Are you building that foundation? Are you trying to skip a step? Have you forced your mind to evolve? Or are you letting that motherfucker keep you stuck? Because if you skip this step, if you try to rush the process or avoid the hard work, you will come crashing down. Because life's going to throw fucking shit your way. We all get it. The process isn't just there to make you stronger. It's there to make you ready. And level 1 is where that readiness begins. So stop looking at where you want to be and focus on where you are. Master this level. Lock it in, because if you don't lock it in, you're never going to fucking move up. I promise you that. Let's go.